sometimes it's just finish and you never know, isn't it, with these? It's just chatting to Morgan Short, and he was saying it's very much, I'm not even going to try and be first at the first corner. Just get it round and stay on track. If you can stay on track, you're going to be in with a shot, aren't you?
Yeah. You know, the way to kind of do well in these races is almost to stick to a delta lap time and keep it away from every other car, keep it out of the pits, and you know, the last hour is where you see where you're going to be, really.
Excellent. Look, crack on. You've got loads to do. Here we go. Amigo Motorsport. They're running the Gala performance car. Plenty to go on. Let's just keep moving down a little bit further, shall we? Interesting to chat to the Amigo team. They're obviously managing the car for them, so that's the team of mechanics. And of course, you forget about that, don't you? There's a lot of people who have to do a lot of work behind the scenes to keep these cars going for 24 hours. Of course, yes, the drivers, you know, I suppose like in all motorsport, kind of steal the show a little bit, but it's really the mechanics that keep the cars going. And what you will see over the course of the 24 hours is a lot of cars will spend a long time in the pits as things go wrong and things go right, and they have to get them out, and driver changes, and a lot will go on. I think they're just actually getting themselves prepared, ready to get out into the pit lane for a little bit of media. So I'm gonna head off, but I hope you've enjoyed an early look at these C1s. It's almost time to get going for the race. So I'm going to hand to your commentator, who's going to talk you through the action. Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. Leon, don't worry about it.
All out for the win.
Well, yeah, that's why we're here. We finished second in Star 24 Hours in 2019. We've made it this far, got on the front row, so we'll try and win it. But you know, it's 24 hours, so There's a lot of things that are going to happen over the next day, so we'll just see how it goes.
One thing that's just happened, the sunshine has just peeked back out. That's not good news, is it?
No, we were all really hoping for a wet race. It's a bit more lively, a bit more fun to drive in the wet, separates the men from the boys. But I think it's going to be dry for the whole 24.
Well, you never know, you know. You never know. You can't believe weather forecast. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you, Ollie. And good luck for the race. So that's the front row interview. Are you planning on sort of whizzing through the grid, or shall I just carry on?
Well, you can go on it if you want, mate. There's plenty of time, so fire away.
See if I can have a chat. So I tell you who I want to have a chat to, Martin Short, because he's over here, and this is going to be a family affair, Martin, isn't it? That's rather nice.
It is. It's a first for us. Youngest son, 16, Marcus. He's going in second, and our fastest man in the car, Morgan, at 19. And me at 62 and old.
Are you 62?
I'm bloody well am, mate. Yeah.
Goodness me, we are getting old, aren't we?
Yeah, you're supposed to say at that point you're looking really good for it.
No, I'm not going to say that because I know you won't say it to me. No, I had a very heavy paper round. I've known you many years, Martin. I had no idea that you were 62. You certainly don't look it. Hopefully absolutely not. Morgan, who starts the car, had a rather good weekend last weekend.
Yeah, he had his first win in the MG Cup in an MG ZS, and he stuck it on pole. And he's been racing in the class in Rover GTIs, which is a car that I built 30 years ago. Would you believe? And he was class racing in MG Cup last year, and just sort of learning to race in a low volatile environment. And then we've moved him to the front of the grid, and he's risen to the challenge fantastically. And watching him do, set P7 on the grid last night was a great moment. It really was.
You've been in motor racing for many, many years and experienced great success as well at very high level. Did you encourage your offspring to take this route, or was it their decision?
It's always been their decision. I've never pushed them into any of this. I've never had, because I know how expensive motorsport is.
That's the problem.
And that's what's great about what we're all doing here today. From having done Le Mans half a dozen times and spending other people's money to the tune of millions of pounds, to come in and enjoy a very similar experience, all the stresses, and come here and do this. And this is what's given me the ability to do it with my sons. But to be fair, the reason that they've really ended up doing this is because they got into the driving sim games. And so, at 5 years old, the youngest one was on the little Logitech and the PlayStation, and now Marcus is in the top 30 in the world on F1. But they've been doing it for 10 years.
Do you do it?
No, I'm rubbish. I am so bad. I'm so bad. But I really, especially over lockdown, as a family, it was fantastic to sit back with a glass of red wine and watch the boys racing. But you still go through all the same emotions, and the stresses, and that's what's great. I've become a great advocate of sim racing because the boys have just jumped straight into cars, and once they learn the relationship between the steering wheel and what their backside is telling them, they've done 5,000 hours of racing, and they know what happens rather than going out on a circuit green. And last night with Marcus, I was concerned because it's the first time he's driven with cars. Driven with a pack, and I was expecting him to come in after a couple of laps and say it was a bit too much.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and he came in after 2 laps and said, my mirror's wrong, can you adjust it? And he off and went out again, and so now I'm completely relaxed about it. But it's been, despite growing up in a racing family, it's been very, very organic, and what will be, and if they want to go further with it, they've got to work at it, and they've got to make it happen, because Dad's not going to pour pension fund into it.
Dad knows how that works, yeah.
Dad knows how that works, yeah.
When's Dad driving?
At 1:30 in the morning.
You got the short straw, didn't you?
Literally. So anyway, that's fine.
That's
yeah.
Brilliant, Martin. It's lovely to see you. You look really well, and nice to catch up as well. Martin Short down here. A huge list of glorious machinery he's been responsible for and driven as well. And good to hear about the family dynasty. I'm not sure he was meant to be on the grid, to be honest, because I'm just looking around and I see me and
officials,
not very many other people. So I did think I'd push my luck a little to come out on the grid. So it might be that I'm going to.
That's what we love about you, though, Alan. You get it done, mate. You get it done.
Well, also, I'm so short that they can't see me over the pit wall. So if I just slowly walk back to the pit lane, then no one in race control will notice.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
At least we've got to hear from the front row of the grid, and that sets you up nicely for the start of the race.
Thank you very much, Alan Hyde, the legend that is. Now, that's actually bought me a bit of time to start colouring in my entry list, because as you can imagine here, everybody, with over 60 cars, it's very difficult to know who is who when you've not really seen the cars much. I was unfortunately unable to come down yesterday, so I couldn't see the cars for a lot of them because we started so early and I'm over at Woodcote. This is the first time I've seen these cars actually this weekend, Adam, so I've got a bit more of a lively job learning on the job.
Yes. There's plenty to take in this 58 car grid that we're scheduled to see take the start, and while in this time of year we won't really get to see them run too much in the dark, or at least not talk about it over the PA systems that have to close off at about 8 o'clock this evening. Once you get into the night time, it takes in a whole new world, because they also have, well, effectively a Christmas light strewn across most of the cars, and most of the teams have unique formations and patterns in order to distinguish themselves in the dead of night.
It'll be just like Lapland 2.
Yes, essentially.
I thoroughly look forward to it. I really cannot wait. But what an event this is, you know. They're the least likely of race cars. We have to say that. And they provide such amazing racing. You know, I saw some of the very first races of these cars, and they're just so entertaining to watch because they're so relatable to the road cars that you can sort of appreciate what the body language is telling you from when you see them come into corners. You know, sometimes they just lift an inside rear wheel off the ground if they chuck them in hard enough. You hear the tyres screeching for mercy everywhere they go, but they're on road tyres, so they're built to last a very long time, aren't they, Adam?
Absolutely, yes. Tyre stops not as big a factor here as you would see in other endurance events in various bigger cars, and fuel is obviously not too much of a concern either. They're very frugal.
Was that the 1 minute board? We just had the klaxon.
Yes.
I think the klaxon.
Yes, we're off at 42.
So Martin Short spoke endlessly for 7.5 minutes.
He needs a job as a commentator.
I think he needs a job as a commentator.
He's been in the wrong career his whole life.
I think he absolutely does. John Higgins. Do you two...
I know of John. Yes, I used
John
to
Higgins,
go to Alton Park, and I used to listen to whoever was commentating shout about John Higgins in Legends.
John Higgins was a legend in a legend, and he hasn't raced since 2010. So, therefore, I have not seen John since 2010. Our paths haven't crossed. However, he has a very distinctive head and very distinctive eyes, and behind the mask I recognise him. He's actually mechanicking on car 538.
538. I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to go and introduce myself.
We'll be having a chat as we get into the nuts and bolts of the race. Then we get a chance to have a leisurely conversation with John and his return to the pit lane. However, the cars have set off on the green flag lap.
They have indeed. Thank you very much, Alan. Amazing stuff to see the cars making their way. It's not the loudest of spectacles, but I imagine, Adam, you're going to have a bit of a moment here as they make their way to you.
Yeah, well, the windows are open for one, so I don't have to worry about the override of noise. Do you want me to run through the grid, sir? Or
I would be very grateful if you could.
Okay. So then, the pole sitter not quite able to break the 3-minute barrier last night. It was the 312 car, the fake shake and bake with Team Gaz Shocks. That's our pole sitter car 312. The 394, the AB Motorsport entry on a 3-minute point 618, car 394, starting from second place. The 388, car 388, hybrid tune full circle racing, starting from third place alongside the WRC Developments entry, which is car 318. Fifth place, Team Crossacre, car 483, lining up alongside the 398, which is Silver Lake Racing. The 488 car is next. That is Roll Centre Racing. We've heard from Martin Short. We know that Morgan Short is set to take the start, and we'll know who's starting the remainder of the cars once they cross the line for the first for the beginning of the race. 8th place alongside the Roll Centre car is the 397, the hybrid tune full circle second entry, so they've got 2 cars in the top 10. Good going. 467 Cat Driver Training alongside the 521 of Progressive Motorsport Limited. That's the 521 car, as I just said. The 345 Emax Motorsport entry, that's one of the more distinctive cars out there on the circuit. That starts from 11th place alongside the 555 Exit 13 car, starting from 12th. That's the car that only did 2 corners in the practice session or the warm-up session this morning, so they'll be hoping for better fortunes in the race. 13th place, the 381, the first of the Amigo Motorsport cars, being led of course by team owner Rob Gaffney. The JW Bird Motorsport entry, car 347, is next on the 14th slot on the grid. 402 JW Bird Motorsport in 15th alongside the 367 Prep Tech UK with CEX entry. That's the 367. 522 Auto Farm Limited is next in 17th place alongside another of the Exit 13 cars, car number 395. The Endurance entry, car number 369. We're still not doing that. We'll leave that to Chaz. Yeah. In 19th place, 356 car starting from 20th is another of the JW Bird Motorsport entries. I'll keep going for now because I can see where the cars are, so I know when it's time to can this. 361, the On the Edge Motorsports entry in 21st alongside the Trimite Racing with Prep Tech entry. That's car number 414 starting from 22nd. The 458 Silver Lake Racing entry is next in 23rd place alongside the 463 car from Venus Motorsport. 504 is BH Motorsport alongside the 452 from PT Motorsport starting in 26th. 509, we heard that Rob Austin and his team didn't have a good show of it in qualifying, and well, that's just how bad it was for Rob Austin and co in Mad Rabbit Racing. Car 509 starting from 27th alongside the 538 Hills Motorsport entry. Burton Power only starting from 29th place. We expect them, a very experienced set, to be further up the order as the race goes on. They start from 29th alongside the Squadra Bedino Nero entry. That's rounding out the top 30 in car number 491, and as the cars now head 2 by 2 in tandem along the Welleting Straight and under the bridge, they'll be with you, Chaz, at Brooklands in just a few moments. We're ready to go racing. Fake Shake and Bake 312 starting and leading them off.
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful grid. Some brilliant team names in there as well, and some very entertaining ones, and some controversial ones for what we say. Alan's got a fantastic view from up there. I can see you. I think it is Alan, actually. No, you're not. You're not in the BRDC clubhouse. There was a gentleman that looked like you up there. I'm sorry, mate, but it certainly looked like you'd gone proper walkabouts there. But no, I was thinking, how the heck have you got up there that fast, mate? But no, we've got the pace car leading them round Luffield. What a brilliant sight it is as well. They're a bit more easy to pick apart as well in terms of the liveries on these things, so if I don't get them quite right early on, please do bear with me. We've got 3 pieces of A4 paper as an entry list, and the pace car pulls off out of the way then, and we're just about set to get going for 24 hours of racing. There's a bunch of them that really need to catch up to the train in front, you know. They've not really done a great job of catching up at this stage, but it's the 312 leading them with the 394 beside them, and 24 hours of racing here at Silverstone in the Silver Lake C1 24-hour race is away, and the whole field begins to fan out and build up speed. A lot of them further back have had a fantastic run through the order. You know, there's already argy-bargy going down towards turn 1 there, Adam, but it looks like, as I just checked the CCTV, bit of shenanigans in the middle, I'd say, at about 30th place, but everyone seems to be through cleanly.
Yes, absolutely. A full stream of nearly 60 Citroen C1s heads through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time of asking, and it is the 312, the fake shake and bake entry, that leads the way here. They all come streaming through, keeping my eye on the mid-pack, making sure we don't have any calamities. There's one car short-cutting Maggots and Beckett, staying well out of the way of an unsafe rejoin, making sure they provide lots of space before getting back out there on the circuit. But as the full field streams down the hangar straight for the first time, I think the lead car's already probably somewhere near Stowe as the last of the cars come out of my view as they exit Beckett's.
Beautiful stuff though, nice and tidy early on. Oh, there's so many of them sideways at Stowe, they're all running so wide.
Yes.
It's a fantastic sight on the CCTV. They're all just completely sideways going through there, but they're 4 wide on the way into club, and this is only the first lap.
Yes, there's what I call a shaking out process at a circuit this wide with cars this narrow. It's going to be very, very interesting as this race develops in the next few moments. You can just see how hard they're pushing the tyres. Some of them really soaring away at the wheel, have flicked it into some of the corners far too quickly over the last few seconds, and they're really pushing.
They are indeed. I've just taken a picture of the cars all going through the club chicane on the CCTV, and there's at least 40 of them in one picture. Wonderful. It's just epic to see, but what an event we're part of here, and what a fantastic race we are going to have, of course.
And you've only got another 23 hours and 55 minutes to take a good picture.
Exactly. It's wonderful, isn't it? I'm going to go record my vlog later on in the pit lane. I can't wait for that. But still, we've got a hell of a lot of racing coming your way. We don't have to worry too much about the positions at the very early stage because, as Adam has mentioned there's going to be a lot of shaking out. There's going to be more position changes that we can shake a stick at, isn't there, mate?
Oh, absolutely. You can see it just now as they go through the village and the loop section. I mean, the leader's already coming towards you, but we've got 2, 3 wide. You can tell who's being conservative, staying out of the way, and who is on a mission to get through the order. Some of those drivers that maybe qualified a little poorly, or those teams that qualified a little poorly as a unit, now making up for lost time.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're just coming past the commentary box here at Woodcote for the first time. And there's just a consistent stream of them all the way down the order. The front two have made a little bit of a breakaway though. The 318 is one of them that's going up there as well, challenging the original pole sitter. The 394 car has fallen outside of the top 10 by the look of it. We've unfortunately got somebody coming in already on their way into the pits, but they've left an absolutely monumental gaggle of cars to continue on down the straight.
David Drinkwater, and those top 2 are breaking away rather nicely in the early stages here from the rest of the pack. It's a fairly long and almost orderly queue through Maggots and Beckett's for the second time of asking. I say that, a few drivers drifting a little bit wide, in danger of finding the grass in the last of the corners, making up Maggots and Beckett's, but I think everyone got through it relatively cleanly. Of course, there are certain areas of this circuit where they have some tarmac runoff to lean on, but they're not allowed to lean on it too much. Penalties of a fairly harsh nature are not uncommon in this race. The track limits warnings stack up, and drive-throughs and the like certainly not foreign to the C1 24 hours.
It's a shame to see any of them pulling off so early, but you know, there's a long time to recover from that. I think it was the 361 that I mentioned that's gone in, which is the On The Edge Motorsports Seaton Limited car. So they have some sort of problem, but one of the things that makes them so interesting about being so close to the standard road car is the fact that they still have indicators, so they can give each other a signal of who's going where. Now, we've had a car have a spin at club with a bit of contact. It's the, I saw this car in practice earlier and didn't note down the number. It's the blue car with the big white flames down the front of it.
That would be the 395 in theory, based off that description.
I'm so glad you're here.
Which is the second of the Exit 13 cars based on that description.
Yeah, it's either, I think they had a bit of contact going into club, unfortunately. So it's not helped anybody's case there. But they all continued though, so they carry on, but obviously less than ideal for Mercedes.
Yes, and just counting them through, the 395 was in 21st place last time across the line, and it is well outside of the top 20 and out of my eye line as the field streams through. So I think you were quite right there with the livery description, and sure enough, there is the 395 car. I think much like a slightly old single, it's dropping out the top 40 at the moment.
Let's hope it's not a one-hit wonder, eh? Let's hope they can fight their way back through. Bit of a spread out at the front of the pack here, but you can just see them just rattling off each other as they go from Brooklands on the right door handle to then lean over on the left door handle through Luffield. Great chase by the front two though. The 312 still leading the way, but as you said, that 318 car doing a great job at the moment. The WRC Developments machine sticking with them as time ticks on down.
Yep, so some moving through the order, some changes in the first few laps. We've seen the one of the hybrid tune full circle racing cars drop down a place last time by. That's the 388 car, but they've still got 2 in the top 6, so they're not going to fret too much in this early stage. Looks to me as if the 312 and the 318 might just be starting to hold themselves up slightly. I don't think they're in full battle, but I think they might be holding each other up a little bit, because the hybrid tune entry in 3rd place, that's a 397 car currently being driven by Stephen James, was the better part of a second quicker than the both of them last time, and so if that form continues, he's going to drag the remainder of the top 10 right up to the bumper of that leading duo.
Just have the 499 car go past a bit slowly, the SVG Motorsport machine.
Yes, yeah.
They've dropped down obviously quite a bit there with, I believe it's Robert Morgan at the wheel. Now on the timing we do have the drivers' surnames on there, but some of the team names are that long that we can only see the first few letters of some.
Yes, I've actually had to withdraw from the timing screen that's provided here and use my laptop in order to actually see the names.
I love it, I absolutely love it. But we, as Bear Grylls says, improvise, adapt, overcome, and here we are.
Absolutely.
But just, I mean, not to rub it in that I've got the CCTV, but the pictures here, they're filling every single picture I can see at the moment. The field is that large and there's that much of a spread. It's absolutely epic stuff to watch. And there's battles everywhere as well. You know, these guys do not rest one bit. And because of how, I don't want to say they're slow, but because of how not as quick as maybe like a GT car or the prototypes we saw earlier that these cars are, you get more chance to make these overtaking manoeuvres, carry the momentum. It's such a level playing field with them all that it just means that you do get manoeuvres almost every single corner, don't you?
Well, if you think about it, some moves here at Silverstone, beginning on the Wellington Straight and end at Copse, in these cars, that's a full minute.
Yeah.
So, you know, the moves go on for a little while.
Yeah.
There's time to consider your track position heading into the braking zones that may not be afforded to you in, say, a GT3 car, as you say.
That's what makes the racing better, though, in my opinion. You know, they've got more time to think about what they're doing, so you know you've got then more time to react as well. So you get some real touring car style racing in these things, and they can get away with contact. You know, you can have the odd bit of contact here and there that in a normal race would really take you out, but in these cars they can bounce off each other a bit and get away with it.
And the spare body panel is usually £7.50, so you know.
Right then, they come past me then at Woodcote, and the hybrid tune full circle racing car, the 397, seems to be closing up. He's actually done the fastest lap of the race, some 9/10 faster than the car in front and 7/10 quicker than the race leader, so that is certainly a car that is on the move at the moment, is the 397. Certainly good stuff from them.
Yes, and once again, yeah, as you say, that 397, just visually as they come through Maggots and Beckett's, has closed up once again. The top 5 with a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field, and this symphony of tyre squeal as they come past.
It through your microphone.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's too warm for me to shut the windows, but it is very funny to. It's funny and also slightly concerning at times. If you've got one car that's a little bit off the pack and is trying to make up time, you're watching everyone in front of you, and then behind you at the other part of the circuit in this commentary box, you hear squealing. You turn around,
I think it was an accident.
Yes, but it's just a corner.
It's just a Nankang being absolutely having its neck wrung.
And it's a point that I think we made in the morning before these were before we were streaming this live on the YouTube feed, and before some of you may have got in through the gates here at Silverstone this morning. These tyres, particularly the front tyres, they go through an immense amount of load at certain points. They do wear. If you look at them going into Village or into Brooklands, for example, the amount of load on the left and right front tyre, respectively, is considerable, because with the softly sprung suspension, all of the energy goes to one corner of the car if you're steering and braking at the same time. So don't think that the tyres have it in for the easiest ride of their lives. They'll be bolted to the car for a while. It's not Formula One, but by the end, I think we're going to have some fairly bald tyres that wouldn't past an MOT.
Now, while you're talking about such technical matters as far as on-track is concerned, I've been delving into the on-track, the off-track facilities for the teams and the garages, because what I didn't realise is that there really is quite a plethora of sofas, inflatable sofas, full stretch linos. In fairness, from what I've seen so far, the inflatable sofa option has been the best option, with one team electing to go for the inflatable sofa with very attractive throws. So it really is home from home as they watch the live stream. It's a really nice atmosphere down here in the Paddock and garages. It's really cool.
I think I have a deck chair or something to that effect with my name on it, not literally, down at Roll Centre. I've been told that I can kit there for a little while should the tiredness and natural human restrictions make me sleep at some point during this race.
Now you see, you're full of youthful enthusiasm, and in fairness, the first Le Mans that I worked on Radio Le Mans at, I made the error. I'd already been to Le Mans before, and the reason I went to my first Le Mans, which was 1989, was in order to get a feel of the event, because I then wrote the music for the soundtrack for the video. So that was in 1989, and then some years later I ended up working at the event on Radio Le Mans. And the first year I did it, I was enthusiastic, and I thought, I'm going to stay up all night so that I know what's happened and that I can follow everything. Trouble with that was the human body took over at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I fell asleep whilst watching it. And I was back on duty in the pit lane at 6. So the trouble with that, you'd fallen into a really deep sleep, and then somebody all of a sudden sort of, well, they're not kind, are they? Oi, you're on.
Yeah, get up.
And it was a shake, and it was, yeah. So I then realised that the way to attack 24-hour races is to make sure you do get the right amount of rest.
Well, so far my record is 5 24-hour races and 4 that I've powered through. So we'll see. If my body says go to sleep I shall.
Sounds like a challenge to me. Now I'm going to have to stay up.
No, you're not.
I've made really strong sort of preparations to sleep in the back of my BMW.
No,
tonight.
you should definitely sleep.
You should sleep. At least one box needs to sleep.
Yeah, that's true.
I have done countless 24-hour races since, and I have always done a much better job on day 2 if I've had proper rest the night before.
Yeah, it's understandable.
It's a really important thing. You can't fight the body.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. You've got to play it safe, I imagine.
Yes,
but
yeah.
We'll see what Adam was like in the morning, shall we, Alan?
Well, we'll both giggle because he will have the typical red eyes. He'll be bumping into stuff, and it will be entertaining for the both of us.
Just so we know, there is an on-track battle ongoing here at the moment. The 483 car has moved up from 4th to 2nd on this lap, picking off both the hybrid tune 397 and the 318 WRC Developments car on this lap alone. Not surprising, given the man at the wheel has just set the fastest lap of the race last time by, a 3:02.340. So that car is being driven to the very limit, currently by Joe Wigan at the wheel of the car. 2 places made in 1 lap is not bad going, and I think he'll be troubling the mirrors, the fake shake and bake entry, before long, with Tommy Field at the wheel.
And you know what, you say that, he's literally on his corner as they come across the line here, but the hybrid car going with them, there's a bit of bump drafting going on with the 312 that still crosses the line in front, and it's worked, you know, they've actually got back in front now. So the hybrid tune car goes back ahead of Crossacre, just over the line. There was 23 thousandths between them, but he's managed to make that place back up by just bump drafting the leader down the straight.
I think this is a matter of what I was saying before about the minute-long overtake, because that started on the Wellington straight, and sure enough, it has finished at Copse. It's the 312 from the 397 now, first and second place. The 483 Crossacre car down there now in third. So it's been demoted 1 again since the last time it came into my line of sight here at Aintree and Maggots. So, well, at the moment that's gone well for Stephen James in the 397. So Stephen James has managed to take second place off of that one. It strikes me that Stephen is one of the more conservative drivers there in the top 6 at the moment. He seems to be picking and choosing his spots rather than going for the all-out attack route that some of the others are adhering to. Some good drivers in the field from the very beginning of the race. We've got Christian England down there in 9th place, a driver with plenty of experience in LMP3s with United Autosports, and the driver in 5th place is someone I want to shout out from our title sponsor, of course, for the event, Silver Lake, the Silver Lake Racing entry, one Gary Preble, who for many years has plied himself as a saloon car master at Castle Coombe.
I'm glad you've mentioned Silver Lake, because I'm in the garage at the moment, and attention to detail, they have a full DJ rig going on down here.
Yeah,
I used to be a wedding DJ. That's my evening.
So that it's quite modern kit, you know. It's a new Mark double deck.
Alan loves his audio stuff.
MacBook
Here he is.
Pro, pair of bows, subs, scanner lights, laser lights, and UV. Very impressive.
I'm going to be down there later.
Nice
with a Red Bull.
Crossacre car into the lead of the race. Meanwhile, with
race.
with a move at Village, just got the inside into Village Bend, then managed to cross over the front of the 312 car to defend the inside through the next bend, the loop. Now leads the train of 5 that is the lead battle here as they head towards Brooklands. So again, Wigan is doing an absolutely wonderful job of carving his way through the order over these last couple of laps.
They've just come into Brooklands now as well, absolutely on the door handles once again, but that top 5 is really making the breakaway here. They're doing a sterling job of it as things stand. Now the 398, of course, the Silver Lake car in that fight, trying to move forward, but it is indeed the 483 that leads the way. Then it's the 312, 397, 398 and 318, so all sharing some sort of similar numbers there, but yeah, the WRC Developments car doing a smashing job. The field behind them a little bit spread out there from then on out. I've just noticed is it the 488 car, the roll centre car? It's in some sort of like black and green camouflage by the look of it, which is quite an interesting fact.
Yeah, black and green for a long time now has kind of been the go-to colours for roll centre, as far back as running a modified Ferrari 458 Challenge car in GT Cup in about 2012-2013. And the colours have kind of followed them around the British GT and other championships since then. So it's good to see that. Of course, earlier years, you may remember the Le Mans liveries weren't quite the same thing, but great to see the family colours on the family car. Morgan Short just in the midst of a battle, actually, through Beckett's and Maggots with one of the other entries. I think that's, who is that? That'll be the 369, the endurance entry, with Cunnington at the wheel at the moment. And so that's Adam Cunnington, a man with a very good name indeed, having a good battle there with Morgan Short. Now, Morgan Short is a bit of a ringer, not just in the sense that he's an amazing sim racer, someone with plenty of results behind him at this point in the MG Championship. He's also a Citroen C1 driver by daily routine as well, so he gets plenty of miles in a C1.
He's well versed in this car.
Yes.
Is one of the best ways to put it. He's absolutely dialed in with this machine. Of course, these things not too different from the standard road cars as well. They basically have like a suspension and roll cage package that you buy for these cars. You can basically just buy the road car, strip it out, fit the necessary parts, and they are fit for racing then. And it's just amazing. And again, something we mentioned earlier is that we're going to see multiple engine changes in some cases over the course of this race. The engines are 1 litre, so very small, light engines,
Yeah.
and they can be changed in double digits.
I think it's a little bit longer than it would be in the 2 CVs and these C1s.
Oh, yeah.
It is doable. I don't think there are as many from memory here as in the 2 CV races, but certainly we will see it. I think in the wee hours there's going to be a lot of very impressively fast full rebuilds on Citroen C1s, and there's enough donor cars there to have a full field of other race cars effectively. I think there's probably well in excess of a dozen C1s ready to be cannibalised by numerous teams over the course of the 24-hour.
We've got the top 5 back in my sight again, and it is the Crossacre car getting away even further. The 312 has now dropped down to 3rd position. The hybrid tune car moving ahead, although they're side by side round Woodcote. It's going to be the fake shake and bake car getting back in front. Silver Lake now with a good slipstream, and then WRC Developments following on. The car that started 2nd on the grid, the 394, is slightly closing in again here, getting closer and closer. And then we have I think it's the Amigo Motorsport. Is it the teal sort of coloured car, the 381?
Yes.
Too far back from them.
Yes, so some of the usual suspects well up there in the top 10. The Amigo Motorsport drivers and cars do tend to be right up there towards the front. They usually run numbers 380 and 381, but unfortunately their second car was a late entry, so they haven't been able to claim their regular race number on this occasion. But the 381 is being driven as if they're making a run for the border, and I suppose they are, since we cross the county lines between Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire twice a lap. But it is still the Crossacre team at the head of the order as they head down towards Stowe.
Oh, we've got 395 in the pits, unfortunately.
Ooh, okay.
Just on its way down there now. Now, they had issues earlier on.
Yes.
They were 47th as they came in, exit 13.
Now, I promise that I'll never say they're coming very slowly down the pit lane, because I've seen on one of the boards that the pit lane speed limit is 40 kilometres an hour.
Oh, wow.
So that will always look incredibly slow.
At least they can go into the pits on full throttle. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. This is high-level stuff, you know. I have noticed the technical director of Team Dynamics, responsible for the huge success that the team has had in the BTCC, and responsible for many models over the years. It's actually here on pit wall. If I get a chance, I might go and have a little ask how much input he's had into the preparation of the C1.
Yes, well, Matt Neal did say to you earlier on that half the week
Right,
the
I've come down to the
BTCC
garages
team
and I've
was
caught up with one of
recommissioning.
the Gala performance drivers, Mr. Max Coates. In fact, a man who has driven pretty much everything, haven't you, Max?
Yeah, to be fair, I feel like I've driven everything this week as well. So, yeah, we're now on to C1s around Silverstone, but we've done minis, Civics and minis again at Brands Hatch, Croft and just them 2 tracks this week, and then here yesterday. So,
do you think there's a car you couldn't drive? Because I don't think there is. I don't think it exists.
We'll give it a whirl. If it's got 4 wheels, or even if it hasn't,
Let's
give it a
start
try.
this on social media. We need to find the hardest car in the world, and you've got to drive it. Right.
I think I've seen some around the track near me. So,
I'll tell you what must be quite difficult is taking one of these out at about 3 a.m. in the morning. You know, dark. Okay, yes, we're not going to have, doesn't look like we're going to have rain, but just tired, just kick in. I know you guys do shifts and stuff, but it doesn't matter how much you sleep. 3 a.m. still 3 a.m. right?
yeah, exactly. So I'm due to go out at about midnight. So I should be out somewhere between midnight and 2-3 o'clock in the morning-ish.
No,
somewhere around there.
I spoke to the Amigo guys, and I was actually asking for you. I was trying to find you, and they said, "Oh, he's gone for a shower." I was like, "What's the point of having a shower? You're going to be in one of these."
I just fancied a shower. I don't know. Yeah, just it's weird. Your body clock just goes completely out of the window. So yeah, just
So have you slept then? Because you're technically it's 6 o'clock now when we're doing this interview.
Yeah.
So you've still got It's quite a way to go, haven't you, before midnight? Are you going to get some sleep before you stint, or are you just going to stay awake now?
No, I think I'm going to go and then sleep after. So after that, I should be back in current, so probably like 9:30, 10 a.m.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a late night and a bit of a lie-in. So yeah, we'll do that.
And imagine with this, strategy is just keep it on the road, keep it going. Minimise pit lane time, right?
Don't be in the pits. These 24-hour races are won by being on track and not in the pit lane. So that's our strategy. I don't really think I'm giving too much away. Everyone's probably on about the same boat. But yeah, essentially, we can keep out the pit lane, keep going around the track. Hopefully something like being fast, then we should be not too far away.
Fantastic, Max. Best of luck. We will be watching. Enjoy it, won't you?
We'll chat later on.
I won't be watching at midnight though. Cheers. Max Coates there, getting ready to go out at midnight, part of the Gala performance team. Right, I'm back down in the garages with what is arguably the busiest man today, Harry Senior. Of course, 2 wins in the catering graduates today. Now you're doing the C1s. Are you mad?
Yeah, no, I need to go have a nap, I think. I'm out at 11 apparently, so yeah, I got a little while yet, so I'm going to go have a little nap, hopefully.
Is that so? It's 24 hours. How many stints do you get? You get 2, 3?
Well, so we've got 3 drivers, so divide that up. It's 8 hours each.
Yeah.
A stint is about 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30, depending on how much fuel you use. So yeah, I'm not in control of team management or stints. I'm just told when to get in the car.
Do as you're told. Yeah. Well, you're a good choice, Harry. Like I said, 2 wins in the caterings a little bit earlier. Perhaps the racing won't be quite as close as we saw in the caterings. You never know, do you?
No, it's a very completely opposite type of race. The caterings is 20-minute sprint race, constantly battling.
Yeah.
Here, especially going out at 11, I'm hoping to be on my own, just have a nice consistent lap times in.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's great fun.
Is that what it's about? Do you have target lap times, or is it just a case of trying don't pit unless you really have to?
Well, so yeah, I really haven't done much C1 racing, and so I don't really know what the pace is meant to be during the night and during the day and with different temperatures. So I'm just going to go as fast as I can, for as long as I can, and yeah, see how it goes. We started 26th. The guy out has made up a good few places at the start, so yeah, hopefully looking for a top 10 finish. I don't think we're going to make it. I'm going to make it 3 out of 3 over the weekend.
You never know. It's a lot out there, isn't it? Look, best of luck anyway, Harry. Get some sleep, mate.
I will.
Cheers, thank you. Harry Senior there, competing in the C1s as well as the caterings. Must be mad. Right. I'll come back down to the garages. I've actually caught up with the team who stuck it on pole position. I've got Matt Maxted here and Graham as well. Matt, it wasn't you put it on pole though, was it?
Unfortunately not, no. Tommy, he just come out of a blinder. In practice, we put him out, he done 1 lap and got it in the first lap we've done in the 3-minute deads. Same again in quali, we gave him the whole time because he's proved he can be the fastest out of 3 of us. And yeah, blew us away.
It's nice to put it on pole, isn't it? Because it gives you confidence that there's the pace in the car, but over 24 hours, does it make a huge difference being on pole?
Not really. We want to be trying to be top 6, didn't we? Just being there, not there at the moment, getting out of the pack moving away. But it's always a bonus. Nice having the dragon the ones we're supposed to get. And the good thing is we're all really close. We're about half a second.
Yeah, we're right close to each other on time, which should make more of a difference over 24 hours.
Well, I know you're a quick driver. I know that from experience. What's the game plan today? Is there a strategy? Do you have target lap times that you're trying to hit, or is it just let's just see what we can do?
As fast as possible and survive. If anyone that saw this race 2 years ago, they saw that not many cars finished here without any damage. And so if you can survive the traffic and survive without getting hit, then you're in a good chance to win.
I have to say, Matt, every time I see you, your hair just gets a little bit longer as well. What's it going to be like next year?
You'll see. Come down here. Start flattening it if you want.
I wouldn't know how to, mate. Guys, best of luck for the race. Cheers, enjoy it, and we'll catch you later. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Upside down as everybody still streams through, but I suppose again that's actually a benefit of the lower speeds in a race like this, isn't it, Adam, that there maybe isn't as much danger of something happening at the end of a straight really, because they have to scrub off the speed anyway for the corner.
No, so long as the drivers are proactive in obeying yellow flags, there is more potential to keep the race under green conditions. if the drivers over the course of the race start to look like they might not be fully abiding, they will have to go to safety car more often. So realistically, they're choosing their own adventure, choosing their own fate. If they're very good about the yellow flags, then they'll need less safety cars if and when these kind of incidents happen. The leading cars just coming toward you at the moment. One driver I want to say a couple of words for is Ollie Samways in the 309. Started that car in 38th place and is now having a good scrap in the on the outskirts of the top 20 and 23rd at the moment. So Ollie Samways has had a fairly mega start to the race, has picked his way through the order quite happily.
So he's fighting for position in the Fighting Talk car.
Yes, most certainly so. And of course the 309 car is also backed by the Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is an absolutely wonderful cause, and it's great to see them getting some exposure, some real estate on the side of that car, and
which the team were paying great attention to polish for
yes.
quite a while this morning. Yeah,
you've got to love it.
Excellent.
You've got to love it.
That's a logo one should definitely wear with pride. We do have yellow flags just on the exit of Maggots Beckett's at the moment. I don't see any reason in my immediate eye shot for that. I wouldn't have thought the yellow flags would be extending this far up the circuit for the endurance situation. So.
Oh, I've got one in the pit lane.
Oh.
467.
It's like he's gone fishing.
It's exciting.
It is.
467 into pit lane.
Let's have a look. Where were they before this then? 467 was quite high up.
Started high up.
Yeah,
started on the 5th row.
Cat driver training. And I'm not sure whether that's training cats or training drivers, but
CAT driver training. So is that the big
diggers,
Caterpillar?
Yeah. That makes more sense.
Wagons, yeah, rather than Felix sit.
Yeah. I tell you what, I can't wait for the next year when there's a team of cats that will be driving the cars in the following years to come. But either way,
I'll volunteer Neil for that.
Neil the cat.
Yes.
What a guy. An update on the Cock Motorsport machine, by the way. It's on its wheels again, albeit in the gravel, and it looks like it's about 3 feet shorter than it normally would be in the gravel. It's obviously not taken a massive roll. It seems to have just gone over when it's caught the edge of the gravel trap, but there's a big runoff there. And as you know, with these things being quite tall cars for their length, they do roll over quite quickly. So it looks to me like he's just clipped the end of the gravel and it's quite gently barrel rolled over, and it's not actually done too much damage to the car, other than maybe a bit of crumpling that you'd expect.
Yeah, so one point I raised, either just at the very start or just before the race, was one of track limits. And we've seen cars 337 and 402 just receive a black and white flag for track limits issues. So that's just a warning, just keep it in line, sir, quite literally.
Incidentally, that car has left pit lane before I got to it.
Okay.
So just quite a quick pit stop for that car.
Okay, so, but yes, so 2 cars receiving the black and white for track limits already. And I'm sure we will see many a penalty have to be served across the 24-hour race distance. But you wouldn't want to be racking up points on that particular issue at this early stage.
No, definitely not. Now, I'm in full disclosure for everybody here. I'm currently colouring in my entry list to tell myself what colour car is what, just so I can tell from a distance. Now, I have the Amigo Motorsport car down as a teal car, but it's actually in chameleon paint. So from a certain angle, when it comes towards me, it looks purple. So I thought it was a different car, and it's only when it gets pretty much right in front of me that it actually looks teal again, because it's got chameleon paint on it.
Well, there you go.
So that's going to confuse everyone.
I was going to say, how do you draw that then with your colouring pencils?
Oh, it's just teal on here, because that's the colour I saw it when it came through. I'll be honest with you all the way through. We've got a nice battle here as well between the 538 and the 463. That's the Wieners car in 20th place at the moment, with Hills Motorsport just in front. There's a lot of position changes just in the middle.
Can I have a little chat to Max Coates? Because I've got the opportunity to do so, and I have to make the most of friendly faces that I know in this pit lane, because I don't know everyone, Max. Okay, first of all, good evening, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Alan. It's nice to be here at a racetrack and, to be honest, enjoying a nice sunny evening.
Oh, it's a lovely evening. Do you get a chance to enjoy the evening? When are you driving?
Yeah, I'm not driving till about midnight, so
You can have a nice evening then.
chilling out and having a burger and having a good time, really.
And what will you do? You'll do your stint in the car and then rest after that? Or I'm always keen to know how people play this.
Yeah, I was sort of like wondering whether I maybe went and got my head down for an hour or two this afternoon. But
what time did you wake this morning? So you have to plan all. Do you know?
Didn't really plan it at all.
No, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you're later out of bed in the morning, that's great. Do you know that in Formula One they have people that work with the drivers, because you're flying around to different time zones, giving you a very strict diet and a very strict wake up and go to sleep time to get you ready for the next.
Yeah, 100%, and I can totally understand why that's important. I think for me and kind of line of work that I'm in terms of driver coaching, I'm travelling around so much that
you're putting a lot of miles in, aren't you?
I'm putting a lot of miles in, so you know, to be honest, most nights this last week have been probably 1 a.m. finishes, so I'm probably fairly accustomed to a late night stint.
And you're still young, Max, you see. You're still young. So just give me an idea, a flavour, because you've just said that you're a driver coach and you've been up and down the country, and that's what you do. Where have you been this week?
He's been at Brands Hatch.
Last weekend I was at Brands Hatch, coaching with Janetta at
GT's,
their new rookie series, British GT. Monday and Tuesday I was at home. Monday was my 4th day at home in May, so kind of a bit of an admin day really. Tuesday was getting the car liveried up for a livery unveil and test on Wednesday at Croft, so I was back up there. Thursday was at Croft again coaching. Yesterday was at Brands coaching in the mini challenge with Bradley Gravitt, and then left there and got here 5 minutes before qualifying started and jumped in the car.
And this is every week of your life, isn't it? The amount of miles you're doing on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean the last 2 months have been pretty much like that. After this, a few things have been cancelled and whatnot this week, but it should have been Blyton, Donington, Snetterton, Knockhill, Brands.
Goodness me.
That's about as mental as a week could get, but a few have been sort of dropped off or kind of going, maybe can I try and do a few things remotely, which you know the pandemic has helped to be able to do really.
You can do that. So this is work, this is fun. How does this fit in?
It all kind of merges into one, and sometimes you get lost off with a bit of both. So yeah, this is fun and racing. So I'm racing for the Gala Performance team with Amigo Motorsport. So Gala Performance make all the pit purchases that you'll see on the pit wall and tents and stuff, and one of my sponsors for the mini challenge this year. So as part of that, we're here to help them and have a good time racing.
Why did all the team, when I came up to you with a microphone, say, "Oh no, not another one"? Have you been busy?
It's the second one. We've only been going half an hour. Yeah, this week has been a little bit interview crazy as well. It's launched the livery, so BBC and ITV local news and all sorts of different stuff. But it's great. I enjoy it, and it's all good fun.
So, live off it. You absolutely live off it. Sorry, Chaz.
Sorry, that was Adam, actually.
Oh,
I was just going to say, there was an incident a few minutes ago here at Maggots Beckett's where the 506 Ladybird car span was collected, unfortunately, by the car we were just talking about a while ago, Samways, in the 309 Fighting Torque entry. Quite a big hit front to rear. Safety car is now out to collect the Ladybird 506 car.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, we've kind of come to the end of it anyway, Max. I'll let you get back. You've had something to eat, have you?
Yeah, and I've got a second burger on the go, so live in the house.
Second burger,
yeah.
Mind you, yeah. You've got room for it, Max. You've got room for it. There we go. Max Coates, a great character and a really nice guy.
He is. He certainly is. And I apologise there for my butting in, but the reason I wanted to sort of be like, I know where he's been, because I keep seeing him on Instagram with Mike Epps at Brands Hatch. He was there the other day with him because Mike was talking about the fact that they now have grown-up cars because they both have BMWs, I think. rather than having sort of more exciting sporty cars. The pair of them have got
Well, it's a very sensible car for munching up the miles on the motorway.
It is. That's why I've got one.
Yeah, well, it's a very good car.
And I'm going to
very
sleep
good
in the
choice.
back of it as well because it's an estate.
Well, I'm not sure that really they'd approve of that in Munich. But if you don't tell anyone, I won't.
That's fair enough. It's not like anyone's watching. We've got a lot of people watching though, and we appreciate every single one of you on the live stream as well. Adam and I may be checking comments. Alan might as well over the course of the day, but obviously we're not directly commentating on the feed that you see, and we're not directly responding to comments throughout the whole event. So please do just continue watching, of course, but yeah, interaction from us may be limited. But now we have our first safety car of the day. Now, Adam, you got a better view of that incident down there. So you say that a car went off, and then as it came back on, they just got collected.
Yes, so that was the 506 car looped it into the first element of maggots. Came back out onto the circuit, unfortunately, right into the path of the 309 Fighting Torque cars. The 506 is very much worse for wear at the rear end. It's not, I don't think it's irreparable, but certainly it hasn't moved under its own steam since the incident happened approximately 5 minutes ago. The 309, I think, although I must admit I didn't fully see where it ended up, it did pull off to one side and stop, and I think it may have then been pulled to the other side of the barrier on the other side of the circuit. So that is obviously a bad incident for both drivers. The 309 car was of Samways was really carving through the order, and the 506, unfortunately, if that car is out of the running already, that means that Patrick Watts is out of the running. It was Orlando Lindsay at the wheel. Patrick Watts and Amy Watts, daughter of Patrick, set to race that car alongside Jarrah Venables, who of course is largely responsible for the Pater Auto series for the 90s and 2000s endurance cars that will be running at Le Mans next month as part of the undercard for the Le Mans 24-hour race. So a very seasoned team of drivers there, and I'm very unfortunate to see them maybe not at an early end, but certainly losing a lot of time and having to do a lot of work to fix the car within the first hour.
I've got the 309 on CCTV. It has been pulled away behind a barrier. I can't quite tell where it is at the moment, but really good coverage from the CCTV cameras here. Obviously, there is somebody there manually operating them as well to try and give me a view on what's going on. You can see that the front of that car, especially the front right, has really taken a hit. It's very bent into the front. Now the CCTV camera is moving back to position to show me where it is. And yes, from where you are, Adam, if you're sort of following the circuit as you go,
it's at the end of the Maggots Beckett's grandstand.
Yes, if you before the final right-hander of it, if you just go to the left, then it's along there. It's just behind the barrier.
So tow truck or flatbed, I should say, now out to retrieve car 506. That car, actually, the 506, was rolled by Amy Watts, daughter of Patrick, in the build tonight qualifying during the open testing. So unfortunately, that vehicle has been
I'm with
in
them
the
now.
wars. Yeah,
I'm with the Watts duo. Can I sit next to you, Patrick? Is that okay? No, because I have a mask on, and I'll sit a distance away from you.
8 jabs anyhow.
You've had 8. Right, that's slightly over the top, Patrick, but still.
Unfortunately, our car looks like it's damaged and it's not leading the field or anywhere in the field. So we're waiting for news back from Orlando. He looks okay. He hopped out the car, which is the main thing. If you take this weekend as a whole, we've had a great time up until now, and we're going to have a great time thereafter.
That's the right attitude, isn't it? You've got a little donor car here, I see.
We've got a donor car. We had the bonnet off it after Amy rolled the unlucky car that Orlando stopped out the circuit on yesterday. I don't think it's a consequence of Amy rolling. I think it's a consequence.
I'm going to go and talk to Amy in a moment about this.
Yeah. Rolly Watts. Sorry, Amy Watts.
Shots fired.
We'll get the car back here. By hook or by crook.
I've missed interviewing you, you know.
We'll make it a runner, mate.
But that's what this event is about, isn't it? This is about
It is. We got so much support from all the people around us and from Silver Lake, who lend us, you know, if it's Formula One, can I borrow a spanner? No. Silver Lake, have you got some big hammers and a porta power? Yeah, come on. Let's get that windscreen out. Let's smash the other one in. Right, we're off. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's great fun.
Have you dined this evening, yes or not?
No, is that an invite?
No. I'm looking for somewhere to go. But I mean, you do have a rather lavish spread here of natural fruits and that sort of thing, and flowers, and it really is very impressive.
Yeah, it won't be here on Monday.
No, quite so. Do you know what you're having for dinner yet?
It depends what she catches, really, in the local stream. We were hoping for a bit of trout.
That would be nice.
Yeah, a bit of Northampton's best. Probably burgers.
Yeah. Is it bolognese? Right. Can I go and talk to Amy now?
What garage is that in, Alan? I'll be there later.
Is that okay? Well, they've got a very nice facility out here, and I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm going to keep it to myself, quite frankly.
I know where it is. I've already visited, and I'm going to recommend to Alan that he try the Cornish cola that is available there. It's very nice.
Cornish cola?
Wow.
Yes.
Is that this? No?
That you can hear him saying, no.
Yes. So that's sparkling elderflower. So I once had a cola. I don't drink, okay, but I had a special cola which tasted lovely. It tasted like cola when I was a kid, and I was very poorly after having it. A whole bottle of it. I was quite drunk, actually. No, it didn't. No, I think it was. What do they say it is? The word will come to me, but it's what they do with wine and cola.
Oh, like mulled
fermented
wine.
cola.
Come on. It was very tasty, but it had a really bad effect on me. It wasn't good. Now, something had a bad effect on you yesterday. What happened?
Oh, a complete rookie error, and actually, ironically, we had this beautiful new livery put on the car, and I came round, I barreled into Beckett, so I was pushing it a bit too hard, back came out, and my only thought was, God, I really don't want to mess up the liveries. So in my effort to sort of avoid the gravel pit, I ended up making a huge mistake and actually rolling into it. So that completely didn't go to plan at all, but it was an experience, and it wasn't in the race. So
how long have you raced, Amy?
It's a completely new venture. I mean, technically, I've been doing it for 3 years. We have 3 race licenses, and I've done a total of 3 races in that time. So this will be my 4th race ever.
So when Dad was in the BTCC, you'd have been very little. And did you have a desire to go racing back then?
I did, and my mother did not have that desire, and literally threw ballet shoes at me. So
did the ballet work?
Actually, they are still hanging decoratively on my banister, and that's about it. But no, I pass them as I go out to go racing.
Well, you're both attacking this in absolutely the right way. I won't have any fermented cola. Thank you all the same, but I will be back for a burger. Thank you, Amy.
See you later.
There we go. So we've spoken to the Wattses.
There you go. Well, so their car is just heading back on the flatbed now in toward Paddock, and it's fair to say the rear end of that car has an indentation. I think they're going to need the hammers back, put it that way. The 369 has also been towed back, the endurance car, so hopefully they can get back out to the circuit fairly quickly. It's not as caved in as one would maybe expect on first thought of a rolled Citroen C1. I don't think it's going to need much more than maybe someone to lie in the driver's seat and do some upward kicks and a new windscreen.
Like I said, it's just some gentle buckling, I think is the nice way of saying it.
Yes, la cosmétique,
as the French would say. But it's still only early stages of the race so far. On the TSL counter that we get, which tells us how far through the race we are, we're only 3% of the way, so still plenty of action left to go. 23 hours, and we've just ticked over into the 10-minute mark, but it's 10 minutes and 55 seconds left to go.
Yes. I'm rather reluctant to vacate this commentary box in about an hour and a half. We get kicked out of here about 8 o'clock so as to not upset any neighbours, and it's kind of a shame. I want to keep going.
I think I might actually come and I'll come and pick you up and just visit just to see what the view is like from that box.
It's
actually,
a good
I'm quite
box.
jealous, especially with the sun going down in nice weather.
Yes, it is. It is nice, and the good thing about the C1s, as detailed during the Sports Prototype Cup earlier on, I can have the windows open here.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite so simple when we had P3 cars or even the Caterhams buzzing around the circuit. But it's again, the atmosphere of the C1 racing is great for everyone. I don't think there's a single entity, a single party here at the circuit that you know is doesn't enjoy it, because you know, we as commentators, we get great racing, but there's also kind of a laid back vibe just to the nature of the racing, and that's very much true in the paddock as well. Everyone's taking it seriously, yes, but they're having a lot of fun as well. It's one of the best feeling paddocks I've ever kind of gone through. You know, you get the feeling last night walking through there in the dusk, saying hello to some of the people I recognise. You know, it was a really, really wonderful atmosphere. I couldn't recommend it enough.
You're right, because I have spoken to Patrick Watts in the past when something bad has befallen his car, and he was a long way from being as jolly as that, I can assure you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, the new and improved jovial Patrick Watts is, I think, a Citroen C1 exclusive.
Yeah.
Certainly. It's certainly after something like that happening.
It's very nice.
Yes,
I rather enjoyed chatting to him.
Indeed. So we are just about 50 minutes complete in the race. Of course, this is a lucky break for some of the cars that maybe had a slightly poor start, or some of the cars that were, you know, not a million miles away from going a lap down. They've now all been closed up, so that's going to be useful for them. It is Tommy Field still leading the way in the fake shake and bake with Team Gaz Shock's entry. Crossacres, Joe Wiggin in second place ahead of Stephen James in the 397. Drinkwater in the 318 is fourth ahead of Gary Preble in the 398. His brother Adam, another long-time stalwart of the Castle Combe saloon scene. I believe Gary and Adam have both had Peugeot 205s that they've raced to great success at Castle Combe. They round out the top five. AB Motorsports Alwood is in sixth place, the 394 car. The PrepTech UK 367 is in seventh. Christian England in the Amigo Motorsport 381 is in eighth. The Progressive Motorsport Limited Entry car 521 is ninth, and the 388, the second of the hybrid tune cars, has fallen out of the top six where it was a little earlier on, but 388 car running in 10th. I was just going to run through the top 10, but I will acknowledge as well the car in 11th, the 509, the Mad Rabbit racing car that started on the fringes of the top 30. Well, Alex Day has got that thing up to 11th place. Yes, there have been some pit stops that have no doubt helped during this safety car period and previous, but that is still quite good for them to have that track position, given they started, I believe, in 27th.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, we see these sorts of drives through the field in a race like this, with longer to do it and a bigger spread in all of the pace, not just in individual drivers and certain cars, but you know, if one car's got a really good setup on it that matches one driver, it's not necessarily always the quickest one to do it. But it looks like we're going to get back on the way again now as the pace car is letting cars go.
Okay, so that's okay. That would be good if we do get to go.
Oh
to
no,
green.
I think they're letting lapped cars go by actually, and he's trying to pick up the leader.
I was wondering if that might be, the case, because I think they were on opposing sides of the circuit at one point, the race leader and the safety car. So it's.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it looked like he was letting them through, but he'd only let about 6 cars through by the time we got around the last corner, so I thought, a bit of a questionable one. I think the leaders are, yes, they're just going past me now, actually. The 361 is just ahead of the 312, who is going to get picked up by the pace car. And I think they've mistakenly picked up somebody else. Although maybe just filtering it out while there's a few corners and that car's waiting patiently. They'll sort themselves out eventually. We know that they know what they're doing, don't they?
Allegedly. Excellent stuff. So actually, as you've mentioned so many times, and as we will continue to mention, some of the team names here absolutely excellent. I think one of my favourite ones is Venus Motorsport, principally because it sounds like the early 2000s band that never happened. Like, you know, somewhere between Weezer and
Wheatus,
Primus or Wheatus. Yeah, one of the. There's that certainly got that feel. It's got an early 2000s pop punk cover band feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. I imagine their garage is quite rock orientated, but we'd have to go and see.
Oh, they might have a set of DJ decks as well. Who knows?
Oh well, if not, you'll have to try and have a go at them. We'll have to get it on the vlog.
Oh no, I'm very rusty, and I doubt I ever worked with any equipment that would actually validate DJing. I just pressed play on whatever 70s music someone wanted to hear at their wedding. That was that was as far as it went back in those days.
It's still better than any DJing I've done, mate. I can say that.
Yes.
But at the moment, then, we are still in a neutralised situation in this race, and all of the drivers now just trying to sort out who is where. So we've got 4 teams that are currently not circulating. They are the 506 of Ladybird, 309 of Fighting Talk, the 369 Cock Endurance, and the 395 Exit 13.
We have one car just coming past my commentary position. It's car 421. I think it's come all the way up from Copse, kind of offline and in trouble. It's smoking heavily as it goes through Maggots and Beckett's. I believe it was just picked up on the live stream a few moments ago as well. And that car, I don't know if that's, shall we say, motor fluids coming out of the back of that car, but it certainly that would be a problem if that is the case, of course, making the surface slippery. It does look like it has some front end damage though, so I'm wondering if it might just be something dragging, but the smoke looks a little more intense than that, or maybe tyre rub against a fender. It looks a little bit of a bigger deal than that. We have another car coming back on the flatbed as well, as the 421 car has in fact pulled up. I believe it's not continuing to lap around the circuit, so hopefully that gets recovered quickly, because I think we are getting somewhere close to the point where we might get back to green flag conditions, but I think the tow trucks, the flatbeds, etc., are probably going to have to be brought back into service. Certainly a strangely majestic sight as the sun's setting is watching a C1 on a flatbed go over the Hanger Strait Bridge. It is, you know, oddly beautiful.
Beautiful in its own way. We've got the 356 car in the pit lane now, the JW Bird Motorsport car. I can see the 421 as well, which is now being looked at by marshals, and there is a lot of fluid underneath that car.
Okay, so that is engine.
Yes, there is a huge amount of fluid. I can see it reflecting off the road from the CCTV camera. It looks like there's something potentially hanging off the back of it. I'm not sure whether it's on the grass or whether it's actually on the car.
No, there was something hanging off the back as well, but it looked to me to just be, you know, a inconsequential piece of plastic. However,
it could be a line or something that's just been ripped, or
potentially, yes. Let's just hope that it hasn't left anything particularly slippery on the Maggots Beckett section of the circuit. Some of the cars that have been waved by that are now going past and through Maggots and Beckett's do seem to be doing so without any issues with grip, so hopefully there aren't any.
Just an update on the 421. I don't like to talk too long about cars that have been recovered by marshals, but they can't seem to get it to move. They're trying to push it backwards, and it seems like it's seized in place.
Right. The 309, incidentally, is just being put back to the paddock as well. So that fast-starting car that obviously was one half of the incident that triggered the safety car has also now been recovered. So hopefully they can get that car back out there on circuit. We want to see as many finish this race as possible. It's not like Le Mans, for clarification's sake. If you get towed back or pulled back to the paddock, as long as you can get that car running, it's deemed safe. You can get back in the race, of course, at Le Mans. If you don't get there under your own steam, it's farewell to your race. We're not quite that harsh here.
Yeah, indeed, another one of the wonderfully sort of laid-back aspects of a race.
But like there are so many lovely stories of drivers getting out the toolkit at Le Mans and getting the car fixed and taking as long as it takes, because very often a driver only has limited knowledge of what, you know, the actual mechanics of a car to get the car going again. But those rules have led to some really quite iconic stories, haven't they, over the years?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'd never argue against them at Le Mans. It has seen some wonderful scenes. I mean, just some of the conditions the Audi Le Mans cars came back to to the Jost team in the 2000s and the 2010s were then miraculously back out on the circuit in quarter of an hour.
Yeah, who was it that ripped all the bodywork off? Was it Lotterer?
I want to say that was Duval on the approach to
Yes.
Indianapolis, but and of course the famous 5-minute change of the entire rear end of the car on the
I was
R8.
there for that.
Yes.
For the first time that it happened, I was stood next to the car, and I think I pretty much commentated for 10 minutes because I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. They unbolted the whole of the half of the car and wheeled in this new half. It was absolutely remarkable. And the whole thing sort of, it's the first time they'd showed their hand that was what they were going to attack. Now, of course, we've got things like that in the BTCC when you need an engine change. For the very, very top teams, you unbolt the front of the car and wheel in the new engine in the front end of the car. It's incredible.
One of the most incredible feats I've seen of that nature at an endurance race was actually courtesy of Synchro Motorsport with the assistance of Matt Neal. Back in 2018 at the Silverstone 24 Hours, they replaced an engine in the wee early hours in about an hour and a half. And the Civic Type R they were running that day was effectively a road car with a little trace of seasoning here or there to make it a bit quicker, but it certainly didn't have any quick release systems that could have aided them. They got it all done in just over an hour and a half. Conversely, a purpose-built car for racing, just a couple of garages down, took 4.5 hours to do much the same thing.
356 was a driver change.
Okay,
sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
I thought I'd tell you. Strategy, the team shouted at me. Strategy.
While pointing at their heads, as if to say, big brain move. Yes, so that's interesting. There will be some drivers being pulled out of the car early. Of course, it is very fluid, isn't it? Endurance racing strategy as these safety cars and other things come in. I think we have some cars racing each other. Some of the cars...
I was just about to say that. There was a few that have come past me here, and they're properly going for it.
They're right. Well, there's the train of cars that's catching back up to the rear end of the safety car train. There seems to be an amount of defending and looking to the inside going on between the 308 and the 414.
We're going back to green flag racing now. The leaders come out of the final corner, and they are going to get this underway. Then the safety car board comes in, and the 312 leads them over the line. Then the fake and shake and bake and tea and all the other stuff leads them over the line. Of course, the full team name, the fake shake and bake with Team Gal Shock's car, leads them through. And everybody gets back underway to green flag racing. And even still at Luffield now, there's a 6-car train completely nose to tail, almost pushing each other round Luffield, and that includes the Team Dynamics car, the 439 entry at the moment, the bright orange thing that's very, very easy to spot from distance. They've got the 450 behind and the 536 behind and the 430 just in front. So many of them, I can't keep up.
Absolutely. Well, as the field streams through Maggots and Beckett's, for the first time back under green flag conditions, I can just confirm that the 421 car is now headed back towards Paddock. I say that primarily to let the Paddock know. I feel like it's good for them to have the heads up. But the race then back underway. And the safety car queue was more or less as one. I think there's about a 15-second gap between the back end of the safety car queue and the front of the queue that was let go to unlap themselves about 15 minutes ago. So not too bad. There's certainly a lot of empty real estate here at Silverstone at this present moment, with all of the cars filing one by one. Or at least mostly in single file.
I was going to say, I've just seen 2 of them around Stowe, glued together. It's almost like they've locked the door handles together. There's a bit of argy-bargy going into club as well. Just trying to see who that is. There's a massive send down the inside. That was the 402 machine, the JW Bird Motorsport car. Absolutely launching it down the inside. They're 3 wide on the way into club as well, just behind that. late on the brakes there, as there's a big send, a big lock-up down the inside and a bit of contact there. I think that's the 555 machine that's involved in that. It's not actually, it's, of course, it's Team Dynamics with a humongous lock-up and send down the inside into club.
The Dukes of Hazzard proud, no doubt, with that kind of move and that livery on their car. It's the 3-1-2 from the 4-8-3 at the front of the order. It's still Tommy Field leading Joe Wiggin at the front of the pack. There's about a half dozen cars, much like the early stages of the race. There's about a half dozen cars that are broken away already. Now that we're back under green flag conditions, they're heading toward you now. Meanwhile, a stop-go penalty, 60 seconds stop-go for speeding in pit lane for car 342. That is the SF Racing car of John Wall, Sean Fleming and Gary Wager. Where are they in the running order at the moment? Just looking for them on my timing screen, but the 342 car unfortunately is going to have to make a fairly lengthy trip to the pits and no doubt get a scolding while they wait for the 60 seconds to expire.
Yeah, a bit of a slap on the wrists there, unfortunately, but as is the rules and as is racing, let's face it, it's never that straightforward. The 451 has just gone through ahead of the 337. The 337, of course, as you mentioned before, in that sort of old Colin McRae Focus-esque livery, isn't it?
Yes, that was the aim, to mix the Burton Power corporate colours with the Ford Focus of 20 years ago now. That makes one feel old, doesn't it?
Oh, don't do that to me.
How old was I then? I was 3.
Oh no, well, I wasn't. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Alan's quiet. But no, in all fairness, you know, it's great to see these sort of throwback liveries. You know,
yes.
There's a number of them that race in other series that use cars like this that have, similar to the old Galois Citroens, like the old Exaras that used to see Sebastian Loeb in. There's a number of them that run all different liveries from Citroen rally cars through the ages. It's really nice to see. And the thing is as well, I don't think I've seen a single livery out there that doesn't suit any of these cars. There's liveries of all different qualities. Like I've just had the 507 go past me here, which is a very lovely looking car with the Motul branding at the side of it. That's one of the Ladybird cars, I believe, the 507. But then in contrast, you know, the TSR racing car, it's a red car, the front is green, and it's just got TSR in green text down the side of it. But it doesn't matter whether it's complex or not, they just all look like proper racing cars.
No, absolutely. And the 369, the endurance team that shan't be named, I think theirs looked kind of like you know, a cheap chicken shop's cardboard boxes that they send out to you on Just Eat at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's literally a red car with an image of a cockerel on the side, which is about what you get from my local establishments anyway. The Crossacre car, the 483, into the lead of the race this time by them. The 397 has also scythed through into second place, so the fake shake and bake Tommy Field has decided discretion is the better part of valour and let a couple of cars through on this lap. So that is probably wise. It isn't one on the first lap after all, but it will be the Crossacre car. It will be Joe Wiggin that leads this lap across the line.
Yeah, phenomenal racing from all of them as well. Everybody up and down the pack still taking every opportunity to make moves where they can. You know, no one is letting a single opportunity pass them by here. It's awesome to watch. And in honesty, it's going to be like this for the full 24 hours. People are always making moves, aren't they?
Absolutely. That's, I mean, when I was lucky enough to be there for the first 2, they did a pair of events at Rockingham in 2018. And I was very happy to go from the circuit comms to the live stream. They were going all through the night that particular occasion with a separate team from us here on the circuit for the live feed, and I just went and did that all night because I didn't want to miss a second of the racing. It is absolutely excellent action. I mean, admittedly, of course, once we do get into some deep green flag running, the laps do start to appear between certain cars and so on, but there's never an absence of battles. Any given moment, there are 3 or 4 battles to focus on at any, even at the the wee early hours or the very last hour of the race. There will be fights on track. Oh, we have a car spinning at Maggots.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dark blue. Didn't get to see the number from my vantage point. Just rejoining now. Do be careful.
Has it got a white stripe up the side of it?
It's got a yellow stripe up the side of it, or a yellow text on the side of it.
That could potentially be the Squadra Budino Nero car, 491.
Okay, that could. I'll confirm that when they come back past me in the village loop section.
3:42 down pit lane. Was that the car that got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane?
That was the 60-second
So
stop-go,
it's
yes.
done its stop-go penalty, which presumably feels like an awful long time. And I did mention it earlier, didn't I? 40 kilometres an hour in the pit lane as a pit lane speed limit is very easy to go over, because 40k is under 30 miles an hour, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And these things don't have pit lane speed limiters, do they?
Only the person that's operating the steering wheel.
Yes,
Yeah.
40k is, I believe, 24 miles an hour.
Yes.
So that's...
and you know what it's like when you drive past the school and you have to go down to 20 miles an hour. It's walking pace, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is.
So top 5 rattle past me once again. I should say top 6, really, because it is a 6-car train heading down the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands once again. Visibility will become, I think, a bit of an issue, particularly heading into Brooklands, because the sun is setting to that end of the circuit. I think by the time we sign off these mics here at 8 o'clock, I think we are going to have drivers, if they still have the sun visors attached to the car, they'll be pulling them down, and if not, they'll be hoping or wishing they had a tinted lens on the actual helmet.
Yeah, indeed, and that's one of the extra challenges of races like this, is that you have to take into consideration the different lighting and the different conditions that you're going to be in. You know, it's not like it's a 20-minute or even half-hour race where conditions may change weather-wise slightly and the track may develop. In 24 hours, it can change umpteen amount of times, and to go with that, you know, you've got the lower light throughout at least half of the race, you must say. Maybe not quite half of it, actually, because we are pretty into British summertime now, so in terms of that, you know, we're actually quite fortunate in that way, really, because it's easier for us to get up in the morning when it's nice and light, and it means that the sun stays up for even longer.
Absolutely. So the 397 car, the hybrid tune full circle racing car, took the lead on this lap. Crossacre actually fell back 2 places by the time they reached the start-finish line. They were down to 2nd when they came past me last time by. Just to confirm and follow up on the spin that we saw a while ago, you were correct in identifying it as car 491. So that was whom had the spin.
I've just punched the air a little bit in that I've finally got something right.
Oh, you've been getting lots right, so don't demean yourself. The Squadra Bodino Nero entry, having its first moment of the day, just going through the same corner now, in fact, and no less spirited in how the car was flicked into Maggots Beckett. So
oh yeah, not deterred.
Confidence unaffected.
The top 6, by the way, all very close together, have just gone through club and are now going past the wing down the straight, and it is the hybrid tune car still at the front of that from Fake Shake and Bake with Team Gaz shocks, and there's side by side at the back of that, I believe that is the 394, the AB Motorsport car, WRC Developments and Silver Lake Racing all having a bit of a scrap. They're coming your way now, actually, aren't they, Adam?
Absolutely, yes. So big gaggle of cars coming into Village now. Just covering off the inside is car 397. That is the hybrid tune car of Stephen James. Still being stalked by Tommy Field. The Crossacre car of Joe Wiggin is right there in 3rd place, as is Silver Lake Racing's Gary Preble. That's our top 4 at the moment. All go through Village, in case you're Aintree, I should say. In case you're wondering, Aintree, the little left-hand flick before the Wellington Straight. Yes, it is flat in a Citroen C1. If that wasn't entirely obvious.
You've got to be very brave, though, haven't you?
To be fair, at some of these corners, you do absolutely have to be brave.
I know that sorry, I know that left foot braking is actually a really good tactic in these cars, because just to stabilise the front end, people often keep the power in and just give it a dab of brakes while still keeping it flat. Sort of proper rally style, you know, they're flat on the power, but they just use the brakes to just rein it in a little bit. It's nuts, and I believe Alan is potentially entertained here.
I'm
sorry,
very
I thought Alan was keying up on the mic there.
No, that was me being particularly amused by Martin Short on an electric scooter, just giving me a quick wave as he takes a lap of the service roads here.
Absolutely on it.
Yes.
We've got the 347 and the 452. JW Bird Motorsport have dropped a place. PT Motorsport now trying to get past as well. Emax Motorsport have gained 2 on that last lap in the number 345 machine, so they're on the move.
So here's my question. If motorsport athletes are supreme athletes, why do they all have motorised scooters? Why can't they self-propel?
Yes, well, shades of Lewis Hamilton actually there with Martin Short, because Lewis is regularly running around on one of those e-scooters these days.
Scooter,
isn't it? Yeah.
They could very easily use the left leg, as we used to when we were children, and self-propel.
Yeah, push yourself along.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now that really would be the green alternative.
It would, yeah,
Yes.
that'd be carbon neutral.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Some of my favourite moments in motorsport in recent years have come when Marc Marquez has foregone the offer of a scooter and legged it back to the paddock in order to get back on a bike.
With great finesse.
Yes.
He's made it something else, he is. The 479 car, by the way, Alan, should be with you in pit lane in just a moment, mate.
If only I were in pit lane.
Oh, it's wee guy on his way.
I'm only at the back of the garages. It's because it is not our dinner time yet, but I'm just inhaling the barbecue smell.
Oh, don't. Oh, I could do with
it's
that.
glorious. Look at this. Outside garage 1A. I mean, what a plethora
I can
of
hear it.
burgers
I
and
can hear the
fangs.
sizzle, yeah.
That's
There you go.
fantastic. Oh, that's making me very jealous.
I just want to acknowledge the 394 car, the AB Motorsport entry, is making some serious headway out there on circuit. Last time by,
they lost a position.
They did lose a position, but
fastest lap of the race.
they had the fastest lap of the race. I don't think that was so long ago. I think that was within the last couple of laps. A 3:06. That's only a couple of tenths off the very best we saw in qualifying. I did say that I would put money on the 3-minute barrier going. If you want to make the bet now, I'm quite happy to, because they'll find 6/10 overnight.
Do you remember, Adam, that neither of us wanted to take the bet?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm a persistent salesman.
Well, yes, just not a very persuasive one.
To be fair, Alan, I'm glad you said that there, because I was very close to saying, yeah, go on then.
No, don't take it. It probably will happen.
He's given me a tenner to give him a lift later. Tomorrow down to Milton Keynes. So
I've given you the tenner.
Yeah, he has
not
already.
getting another one.
I've got it in my hand right now. It's here.
Do not prize it out of your hand.
I'm going to put it back in my wallet with all the moss.
It's not a good bet to take.
Right then, the top 6 have just come streaming past me once again, with Fake, Shake and Bake, with Team Gaz Shocks now retaking the lead. Crossacre up to second, Hybrid Tune third, followed by Silver Lake, WRC Developments and AB Motorsport. Then in 7th, it's PrepTech UK with CEX, Amigo Motorsport in the Chameleon car in 8th place, Progressive Motorsport making a progressive drive of it at the moment, and Mad Rabbits Racing have hopped their way up into 10th position, and Exit 13 have exited the top 10. There you go. Boom.
There he is. He's arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Top 6 then, streaming through Maggots Beckett's at the moment. A few of them a little bit offline, but no one able to capitalise on that occasion. It is, as we say, Tommy Field back to the head of the train at the moment. They are switching places here or there. It's rather like the Tour de France, isn't it? The first few riders are letting, you lead a kilometre. Now you lead a kilometre.
Yeah, after you, old chap.
They've just got to hope that the peloton doesn't catch.
Yes indeed. Now, one car that I've been meaning to put in my little coloured in entry list for a while is the Trimite coloured car, which is the Trimite Racing with PrepTech UK machine 414.
Yeah.
See, now this, I should just ask you about these live on air, but it'd make me look like I don't know what I'm on about, which is, I don't want people to know that. So
no, do it anyway.
I won't lie, Alan. Most of my commentary career has been winging it, and here I am. But to be fair, I think that's a really good-looking livery on
It
that
is.
car. It looks brilliant. It does remind me, again, we're going to come back to 90s BTCC. It reminds me of the Honda Accords from 99 to 2000.
The Redstone cars, yeah.
They look fantastic.
I get the first thing that comes to mind for me, though, is a little more recent, is the Ford Mustangs run by DJR Penske currently in the supercars.
That's not a bad shout.
Shell Helix.
What about the quite recent, I'm talking Gordon Shedden Honda Civics, the Yuasa liveries?
Ah, yes, so 2015, 16.
Yes, yeah.
I can see that as well.
Away from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're really geeking out.
We
now.
are.
I can hear Alan shaking his head, going, "Oh, I thought I was away from the BTCC for a weekend." But no, this is fantastic so far. And in all of this time of us enjoying ourselves, we've actually surpassed the 1 hour mark already in this
I'm
race.
never unhappy to talk about the BTCC.
Yes, Alan, that's what we love.
Never unhappy.
Smashing stuff.
Right up until I arrived, talking about specific chassis numbers and what country they live in now.
Yeah, to be honest, that might go just a little bit beyond my
yeah, me and Alan will probably just disappear off to the barbecue at that point.
Yeah, well, exactly that. I'm just checking. We're comparing notes on how many steps we've made during the day. I just want to see if I can.
I've not got a Fitbit. I'm too fat and lazy for a Fitbit.
Oh no, I've won this one. Yeah, because one of the officials has been pacing up and down the pit lane, as have I today, and she just told me she's done 13,000 steps.
Good going. Good going.
No, it's not. Not compared to 15,845.
Look at that purple sectors from Alan Hyde.
Not that I'm competitive or anything.
Can I just weigh in on that point? Yesterday, I walked here from Whittlebury to come and see night qualifying, and I got 21,228.
Did you really?
Yes.
I got 60 miles to the gallon down the M6.
There's the beauty of a BMW.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Now, just to bring our attention back to the lead battle here, Crossacre have gone back into the lead of the race, but Fake, Shake and Bake were more like fast shove and push down the straight a moment ago. They were stuck to the back of them as they went down here, but interestingly not trying to make the move to go down the inside straight away. So they're just sort of trying to move forward because they know that this train of 6, potentially with all the battling, is maybe slowing them down a little bit while the field is still a little more sort of compressed together.
Yes, absolutely. I think it is rather one tripping up the other at the moment. I don't think there's one guilty party in it. Crossacre and Shake and Bake swapping positions into infinity. It almost feels like ironically, on a day where we've had Chris Hoy win a race, it does feel like the kind of early stages of a race on the velodrome where everyone's just kind of after you before the 5-lap sprint at the end. I don't think it's quite going to be like that because a lot of drivers are already pushing. One driver pushing slightly too hard. I think that was a 3.73, just slightly overcooking it just now at Mackett's. Beckett's managed to collect it up without even touching the grass, so a masterful mistake, if you will. But they do manage to continue on their way. That's the Midway Motorsport car number 373.
And that's the beauty of these things, I suppose, as well. Another benefit of the speeds not being ridiculously high in these races is that you can have a moment and it doesn't necessarily end your race or hit anything.
Update on car 395. We talked about it going into the garage. We wondered about the radiator. We were correct to worry about the radiator. The car requires an engine change. That is being effected at the moment. And the team have asked the team what's their estimated time they would take to change that, and about an hour.
Yeah.
I reckon.
And then in a long race like this, you may think that might not be too bad, but when you consider that is 1/24th of a race, it's like it's a hell of a chunk of time. But we've seen people make fantastic comebacks from stuff like that. Once you do get the engine in, and you know that you're not really fighting every single car for position on track, then you can have a hell of a good time.
What about the 369 car, which has come back? That was the car with the cockerel on the side of it. It was upside down, which is being worked on without a windscreen at the moment, but they are endeavouring to get things straight as far as the aperture for the windscreen is concerned. So they haven't given up on 369, which is jolly good news.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm imagining that we'll hear them before everybody else at the crack of dawn, won't we? But I just want to point out that the top 8, I'm here all weekend, the top 8 are covered by 2.5 seconds.
You have genuinely made me laugh twice today. and that's really jolly good going. I've had 2 genuine giggles.
I'll take that. That's an absolute
I'm easily
dream.
pleased. I think he's made me laugh about 47 times.
Oh, honestly, the puns are endless, but not all of them are broadcastable.
Let me describe exactly what's happening with car 369. So, when you've got a car which has turned upside down, and therefore you have a rather dented roof, the ingenuity of the team say, well, if you put a trolley jack on top of 3 wheels that are piled up on the driver's seat of the car, and then pump the trolley jack, that will pull out with a hammer the roof of the car.
I was going to say, I heard that bang then.
So
that's not a trolley jack.
No, I think you probably trolley jacked up a bit too much. So that's why that hammer came into operation to pull it down.
That's awesome.
There you go. The ingenuity of a team, eh?
That's absolutely amazing, and that's the sort of stuff that you love to hear about in motorsport, the things that people can do to fix a car, the ideas that they come up with.
So some stop-go penalties, just to quickly change tack. Cars 450, 361 and 396 for overtaking under safety car. We said that we thought there was some racing ongoing where there perhaps shouldn't have been. Of course, the car number 361 is, I think, fairly... No, I'm confusing it with the 381. The 450 is the other Amigo Motorsport car. Obviously the 381 is the regular entry. The 450 was a last-minute entry, so that's them. The 361 car, I can't quite see it on my timing screen at the moment.
Well, the 361 car, just FYI, is the On the Edge Motorsport, so they've gone over the edge of what the rules are. Now, you say 450, I don't have that on my entry list.
You don't, because they entered it about 3 hours before qualifying yesterday.
That'll be why then.
Yes.
Right.
Very last minute.
Okay, so that takes me out of action on that one. That is the Amigo Motorsport car, the second one. Like you said, actually, you did mention that earlier. Sorry, I've just looked up and the top 8 have come back past me again.
Can I just give you a quick update on 369, because this is an heroic effort to get the roof of the car straight. They have a brand new windscreen which is standing by. They're almost there, together with the trolley jack and the hammer and 2 blocks of wood. They've pretty much got it straight. They just offered up the new windscreen to the aperture, and it needed just one final bash with the mallet and 2 blocks of wood, and now they are prepping for the sealant to go in and the window to go in.
That's fantastic stuff. That's almost like the motorsport version of a pint of lager and 2 packet of crisps. A trolley jack and 2 blocks of wood.
Excellent. There you go. Laugh number 3, Mr. Hyde.
Oh no, that was just a chuckle.
Yeah, there's levels to it, you see.
Riverside Performance is the 3rd car that's receiving a stop-go for pitting, or overtaking, I should say, under safety car. So that's the 3rd and final guilty party in that regard.
There's water under the bridge to that.
You're trying too hard.
I am trying too hard. I'm trying way too hard. I'm sorry. I've just realised I've got a really good battle just coming my way here. It's the Trimite car, I believe, that is leading this train. He's got the 377, the 586, 344, Lightning McQueen himself, and the 373 just chasing him down. All of them really stuck together as they go across the line here, and they all look very good doing it as well. They're battling for 35th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. The 414 cars actually gained 4 spots on that previous lap.
Yes, indeed. Just want to highlight some maths coming in from the community over on the YouTube feed. I know we've said we're not actively following it, but I have been checking in here and there. Username Sausage has come in with some very useful intel, name notwithstanding. 3-minute laps, 5.9 kilometres, total about 1760 miles divided by 35-litre tanks. He's worked out that that will equate to about £260 worth of fuel across the entire 24 hours.
Fair play, Sausage.
So there you go. Thank you, Sausage, for your totting up of numbers. That's interesting intel to have. We'll have to ask one of the teams at the end to see if he's right or not.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thank you for all of your comments on the stream, everybody. As Adam said there, we aren't actively checking all of the time, but still, it's great to see you all sending in your comments and so on. So please do stay with us, because there's plenty of entertainment. We'll be going off, well, we'll be going radio silent on comms in about 45 minutes, maybe just a bit less than that, at 8 o'clock local time here. It's currently just gone past 7:15. We're actually 90 minutes into this race already, and still the top 8 cars, or the top 7 actually, the Amigo Motorsport car's gone backwards a little bit here, but the top 7 are covered by, bear with it, 2.3 seconds, top 7. Unbelievable.
It really is. It speaks wonders of just how good this racing is, that we have these cars so close together as they have been for the duration. They're just coming up to my commentary position once again now. It is the 312 still in the lead, the fake shake and bake car 312 that leads the way. It's a changing of the guard largely between Tommy Field and Joe Wiggin. I think that's fair to say. Occasionally Stephen James or Gary Preble takes the lead for a lap or so, but it is largely Field and Wiggin controlling the pace here, and it is quite a frenetic pace, it must be said. 3:01's only a second off the very, very fastest laps we've seen in the qualifying last night.
Oh yeah, there's still some very, very strong pace going in, and this is one of the best things about it, in fact, is that you don't really get that drop off of pace, do you? The tyres don't really go off very quickly, and the weight of the fuel doesn't make too much of a difference in these cars, so you don't get that development of pace from an individual car over the course of a run. They all stay at very similar pace, which keeps it entertaining. Now that 5-car battle I mentioned on the previous lap, led by the 414 Trimark racing car, is still going on here. They've got the Petters car right behind them, the 377, which is at the hands of That's the Badger Racing. That literally is the Badger Racing. I hadn't seen that team name before now, and I really don't know why. But that's an absolutely corker of a team name.
It's the 377, we salute you.
Yes, we do. And, well, when it'll be like, oh, that's the 377 car. Oh, yeah, that's the Badger. That'll be the one. But to be fair, it's a good one. I actually commentated on a karting meeting recently where a team called themselves Is In Last Place, and not at any point were they in last place, which made my job difficult.
Yes, I think they might be a follow-up to the Too Many Pies team at that same event, actually.
Well, yeah, there was one called Maximum Weight Exceeded.
Excellent stuff.
There was some other very unbroadcastable ones
yes,
as well.
Indeed.
Good thing it was only PA. But it's looking absolutely glorious here right now, by the way, with the sun going down. It's absolutely stunning now. I'm very glad that we'll still get a bit of sunlight before I have to go and lie down in the back of what's called the hearse.
It's really warm now as well. Now the sunshine has come back out and the clouds have burnt off. I'm not sure whether at any point on the circuit that sunshine getting low in the sky is going to cause a visibility problem. But incredibly bright.
I'd imagine Luffield, actually. They tend to look directly into the sun at Luffield, but other than that, I'd say maybe just coming out of where you are, Adam?
Yeah, I said earlier on that kind of this last sector, Wellington Straight, and then, as you say, going into Luffield, if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to be there, where they would wish for a visor or sunglasses in the glove box.
Yeah, definitely. Or you've got one of the really cool compartments that's up above you as well, where you can just pop that on, but I don't think we're quite at that level. I don't even know if you can spec one of them up for the Citroen C1, but if you can, then I'm sure they'd have one.
Oh, a bit wide there from Gary Preble on the first element of Maggots and Beckett's. Just had to check himself up, as well as the 397 hybrid tune car of Stephen James. Didn't cost them any time in particular, but just a couple of tenths that they will have lost in the midst of that one. I think there's some more confidence going on in general through Maggots and Beckett's now, because I've noticed the tyre squeal is a little more intense than it was.
I was going to say, I can hear it in the background. It's like someone strangling a cat.
Yes.
Not that we condone that.
No.
No, not one bit. We love cats. Adam and I both have cats.
Yes.
His is called Neil, mine's called Rick.
You didn't tell me it was called Rick.
There's another letter at the beginning of his name because it was part of a Young Ones joke with Rick Mail. But yeah, either way, fantastic name. Now, the Trimite car has dropped 2 places on this lap, and I believe it's the Petters, and that's the Badger that's gone through. It's not actually, I think it's the Rusty's car. No, it's not, it's the 377, so literally that's the Badger in front of them in the Trimite machine, and that's actually started to open up a little bit there. The Midway Motorsport car is actually midway through that battle, with Rusty's Racing hanging off the back of it. Obviously the Lightning McQueen-esque livery on that car. Just behind them, actually, not too far off the back, is the Cat driver training machine, 467, 9.6 seconds back. And then we've got the 396 in a bit of no man's land at the moment. Riverside Performance machine, 14 seconds off the car in front.
Absolutely. The leading battle might end up getting a little bit curtailed or slightly enhanced as they're kind of going through traffic for the first time. The 312 leading the charge through the traffic now, and I think the at least the first couple of cars will be clear of the immediate back markers by the time they arrive at Brooklands. Meanwhile, I'll interrupt my own point, for the car 479, 1 minute stop-go penalty, not specified quite how they obtained that 1 minute penalty, but car 479 is to have a bit of a pause. That's the car that started right at the, well, on the last row of the grid in 57th place, the wee guy entry, going from bad to worse for them. I tend to think from previous years that if the stop-go penalty isn't specified as for a particular crime, it often ends up being track limits.
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the case, because, you know, with the momentum these things carry, they are nimble, but, you know, with the pace that these cars are trying to carry through the corners, they do often understeer wide and maybe just go over track limits. And in a car that does the similar sort of speed to this, you wouldn't really expect them to have to use all of that. So they do come down on them like a ton of bricks sometimes, but rightly so, you know, because they want the drivers to stay on the black stuff between the white lines, and if they can't do that at this pace, then, you know, it's gaining an unfair advantage, which is the reason that you get penalties for such a thing.
Absolutely, and it's again a testament to the marshals. They're having to call, if not all, a good portion of this to the stewards. Of course, they will be making use of the CCTV and spotting some of it as well, but a large quantity of it does come down to marshals on the posts declaring that certain cars have gone all 4 wheels off track repeatedly. So it is again a testament and just a reminder really of how much the marshals are doing. It's not as simple as just sitting there now until they have to put out a yellow flag.
Yeah,
they are constantly working.
Oh yeah, they don't just
taking orders.
Yeah, they don't just sit there and wait until they have to turn one back on its wheels again. They actually have to monitor a lot of what's going on. And interestingly, I've seen a few people sort of in TV roles do a bit of marshalling and, you know, just bringing awareness to it. And the fact that they never look at oncoming cars.
Yes.
They're always looking at oncoming cars. Sorry, they never look at cars that have gone past. They're always looking at the cars that are still coming towards them, because they have to know, is there an incident coming? You know, if nothing's happened before that post, unless they'll hear it if it's gone past them, but they have to see it coming just in case to avoid any potential danger. And it's amazing to see that, really, because there is so much concentration that just goes into doing that, rather than being distracted as a motorsport fan and watching the car go past.
Yes, absolutely. So the lead cars continuing to slide their way through some traffic. It's still the 312 in the lead. Tommy Field still leading the pack. This is lap number 30 of the motor race, incidentally, that we're about to come to the end of here. So making good time so far. We have had that one safety car period, but of course safety car periods don't lose terribly much time in this category. There's not too much of a speed reduction apart from at the scene of an incident. So yeah, we should see I'm not going to do the maths right now, otherwise I will completely lose my thread. But we are going to see a good number of laps come in over the course of this race. Hopefully, we don't end up with afflictions that have often befallen 24-hour races here previous, which is the fog.
Yeah.
And a good number of 24-hour races here at Silverstone have ended up curtailed for a good number of hours in the early morning owing to fog. It certainly happened at the 2007 Brit Car race, the 2018 Preventic 24-hour, and quite a couple in between as well,
Please,
I believe.
may I tell my fog story?
Yes. Oh yeah. Let me sit down. Hang on.
It's from the 2CV 24-hour race at Snetterton, and I used to do. There were 4 commentators basically, and we did the whole 24 hours. And one of the commentators was Matt Jones, the editor of Motorsport News, who was in the commentary box with me. 479 into the pit lane, by the way. So Matt and I were one team, and then Lewis Beals, who is a writer for Motorsport News, a reporter for Motorsport News, said he would do the overnight stint on his own. So that was from 12 o'clock until 6 o'clock, and Matt and I had a hotel room, and we signed off at 12 o'clock at night, just as the safety car was coming out, because fog had set in. And as we arrived back at the circuit at around about 5:45, the safety car was just coming back into the pit lane. So poor old Lewis had the whole of the overnight session. He was quite happy. He seemed very happy. I don't know what he'd been talking about, but he was still very happy.
He did similar actually last year when I commentated on that with him. I met Lewis and did that, and
is he still doing it?
Yeah, he's still doing it. It's fantastic. Brilliant. It was great to meet him. He's a really top bloke. And,
he's a great enthusiast.
Oh, he did. He just did an amazing job all weekend. I was there with Peter Scherer as well.
Yes, Peter's down here. Yeah.
Oh, is he there? I'm going to have to come and say hello.
Running up and down.
Yeah. I'll definitely go and say hello to Peter. He's a star in himself.
Yes,
but, my own endurance race story from last year. I had the pleasure of commentating on the Nürburgring 24 hours actually at the circuit last year.
The maddest race in the world.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was such an honour to be able to do that in only my first year doing circuit commentary. It was just phenomenal. But
pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah.
I was with Brian Oliver, who does a lot of the Ferrari Challenge stuff, and I believe GT Masters as well. But we basically signed off at about 10 p.m. local time, and it was raining and it was foggy and it was horrible.
Yes.
And they basically, 5 minutes after we'd left the circuit and went back to our wonderfully well-heated little log cabin with its own sauna.
Yeah, nice.
We got back and then suddenly got the notification through the race has been stopped. It was about 5 minutes after we left, it had been stopped. So we were like, right, okay. And we were planning on staying up through the night, not all of it, but just get the odd hours kip here and there, taking notes of what's gone on and so on throughout the night. It stayed red flagged until 5 minutes before we went live again the following morning. It was an absolute dream.
There you go.
Amazing.
So you had a proper night's sleep.
Oh,
just
I did.
A fun point that's come in on again on the YouTube comments from a Duncan Lewis in regard, I believe, to your story down in pit lane there, Alan. He says, I was safety car driver that year, ... from today's current safety car driver. So he was there when that happened to you with the fog, and
that's very cool.
And apparently he's in the pit lane with you today as well.
That's brilliant.
Very cool indeed.
Oh, don't you just love the motorsport world for stuff like that, though? It's such a small world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely.
Before we sign off on the PA, I'll tell my Frank Bieler Le Mans story.
Oh yes.
Because that's
we'll round out with that one.
Well, no, I don't want to big it up. Well, no, I do, but I don't want to let people down, and I will have to not use certain names so to protect the innocent.
Com Tristensen. So then, lap 32 of the race, the leading pack currently out somewhere around the wing, I believe, as it stands. And the fake shake and bake car of Tommy Field it is whom leads by 0.3 of a second. The top 8 now split by 6.7 seconds, which is about the most spread they've been all day long. And great to see such close racing. still, as they continue around, the AB Motorsport 394 car, the car that has set the fastest lap of the race, they were promoted a position up to 4th last time by, so good to see them starting to pick back through the order. They had a bad lap or two maybe about 30 minutes ago and lost a couple of places, but they're on the warpath once more.
We just had the Trimite car as well, still battling away with the Midway Motorsport machine, the fully white car 373, having a really, really good scrap together. They were side by side all the way around Luffield and then back again after that. On the way in right now is the 396, which was given a 1 minute stop and go penalty, so they are now on their way into the pits, slowing down very, very aggressively on the way in, making sure they carry as much speed. And you can just tell when a marshal is saying to somebody, come here, you're in trouble. There was a very abrupt pointing of the yellow flag at where he's got to stop. It was like, stop there, you.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Something about the orange kind of somehow illuminates the body language,
Yes,
doesn't it?
it does.
You can see what they're thinking.
Yeah, it's very exaggerated, and I absolutely love it. So,
can I just give you a very quick update
Yes.
with the 369 car? It has now an attached windscreen.
Oh, brilliant.
Which is really good news. They are hoovering the car out inside. There's a lot of red gaffer tape around the all the windows, but that is to be expected, and also is probably the best way of making sure that all of the glass stays in. At the moment, they're trying to get rid of the gravel which is inside the car. So this is indeed good news. Great story.
yeah, fantastic. Great to see them getting that car back out.
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
I didn't know about the. Let me go to the back. Just trying to, are we doing an engine change on this? So yes, 421. What are we doing? Engine. I rather thought that was the case. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Well. Good luck with that. A rough estimate of time.
I love that.
Right. Yeah.
That properly sounds like the sort of bloke that, when you go and get your car fixed by your local garage. I love that. You just go in, it's like, what are you doing? Engine. How long is it going to take? You think, hour. It's like absolutely no messing, straight to the point. I love it.
Of course, the 421 is the car that came to the halt during the safety car, dumped an inordinate amount of fluid on the exit of Maggotts Beckett's, thankfully well offline, kind of at the little motorcycle tightened line that they take for the MotoGP races, so not anywhere near the track we're using. So no surprises there that one needed an engine change. It rather expired as spectacularly as a C1 engine can.
Yeah, just to give you a quick update, I'm collecting liveries on this entry list like Pokemon cards at the moment. I'm still trying to get all of them, and I've not got all of them yet. I've only just picked up on the 332 in the Gulf colours that's just gone through, which is the Crunchy Gears Motorsport. Hopefully they don't do their clutch in by the end of the race.
Yes.
But I'm still missing, for anybody out there that is collecting, I'm missing the 309, 345, 347.
309 is the silver.
If it's just silver, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the car backed by Great Ormond Street.
I actually went and just for anyone that hasn't heard so far, I actually just went and bought coloured pencils at lunchtime because I forgot my coloured pens that I normally colour it in. Because let's face it, as a commentator, you do look for the numbers on the cars, but they're a lot more difficult to pick out than just seeing the colour of the car. So I give it a basic design. I'll actually put a picture of the entry list on my Twitter in a bit, and for anyone that follows me on there, you will see that, just so you can get that. It's at Chaz Draycott, and I will take a picture of it in just a moment and put that on. Actually, I'll do it when we've finished. I'll do it when serious time is over.
I asked this with a slightly guilty tone. Do I follow you on Twitter?
You know what, Alan? I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I'll be utterly honest on air here. Despite how much of a fan I always have been of you, I only followed you the other day.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't think I have you followed, Alan.
Nothing wrong with that either.
I know you definitely don't follow me.
I very rarely say anything of any interest other than to promote my Tin Top Tuesday radio show, sponsored by Autoglim and available every Tuesday following the round of the BTCC.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now, I've nearly just been blinded by the 555 car that has now got all of its lights on.
Yes.
It's just come steaming around the final corner. Well, as steaming as the C1 ever will be. But yeah, it's just blinded me as I've looked directly at the front of it there. I thought it was glinting in the sun, but no, it's blinded me there. But yes, honestly, if you haven't already listened to any of Tin Top Tuesday by Alan Hyde, give it a listen. It's phenomenal.
I am following you now, Chaz.
Love it. Thank you very much, mate. That
I've
is something I'm going to take a screenshot of and I will treasure.
You.
Phenomenal. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, honestly though, if you haven't listened to Tin Top Tuesday before, give it a listen because it is not just hilarious but very informative as well. You get some great opinions from
It's
people.
a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly. And the interview with Charlie Cox will go down in history as one of my favourite ever. Now, just to add on to that, the reason that I first listened to that was because David Addison was on there mentioning my British Boring Car Championship, which you may have remembered.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I do.
That was me, and
yes,
here we are.
Yes, I do.
We've come full circle from Volkswagen Jetta TDIs on a sim to Citroen C1s. I know, it's crazy.
And we've edged ever closer to the Frank Beeler story, but not now.
Yes,
not now.
yet.
We'll do the Frank Beeler story. We'll run through the top 20, and that'll be the evening. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Now I'm still collecting liveries.
Absolutely. Well, so let's just to update you on the on that lead battle. It's still 0.7 of a second at the moment between the top three. The Fake Shake and Bake, the Team Crossacre, and the Hybrid Tune cars, still with Tommy Field, Joe Wiggins, Stephen James in, all of them starting drivers. We're only 2 hours in, so a fair few of the drivers have been here for the duration of the race to this point. I do want to thank, actually, while I'm looking at the timing screen, the TSL crew, who have been kind enough to add the full names of the likes of James Little and Morgan Short, where there are a multitude of drivers with the same first initial and last name. Of course,